guiding light.
Of a toxin into the air.
That gas was released intentionally.
Look how easy it would be to attack a wide open city.
Someone's planning to do some serious harm.
Stand by. Good afternoon, everybody. Ken Rice live in the KDKA TV newsroom, and we're on Big Ben watch this afternoon. Did he practice today? Is it looking like he's going to play on Sunday? What'll the Steelers do if he can't go? We get to the bottom of those questions coming up at 5. Then at 6, ever get a water bill that seemed a little bit high to you? See what a local guy is saying about his water bill, all $21,000 of it. Also at 6, consumer editor Vaughan with a warning for seniors tonight about false promises and those prescription drug cards. But first, all of today's top stories in Jeff's local forecast. KDKA TV News starts right now.
This is KDKA TV News at 4.
Good afternoon. There has been a lot of watching and waiting in Harrisburg this afternoon, but so far, little action.
KD political editor John Delano has been following the story from the beginning. He joins us live now in the newsroom with the latest. John, what is this story? What's it all about?
Any minute now, the state Senate is expected to act on the controversial pay raise bill. What senators tell me is that Republicans who control the Senate want to repeal only part of the pay raise bill, the so-called unvouchered expense allowance that gives them an immediate pay raise until next year's election. But the Democrats, led by State Senator Sean Logan, will attempt to offer an amendment to repeal the entire pay raise. And it comes about because elected officials, including some on the ballot next week, fear repercussions at the polls.
We will always remember their undedicated call, and we'll remember the pay raise when we're voting in the fall.
Remembering who voted for the pay raise, who took the pay raise, and now who is working to repeal it, weighs heavy on many legislators' minds. In Harrisburg last July, anti-pay raise organizers couldn't be clearer with their message to incumbents.
Your services are no longer needed.
But legislators disagree and say they are worth the raise. Although they are not up for re-election until next year, voters next Tuesday will get to vote yes or no on keeping 2 state Supreme Court justices.
They are Supreme Court Justices Sandra Schultz Newman and Russell Nigro. On November 8th, you get to decide whether they stay on the Supreme Court and keep getting the pay raise.
Newman is a Republican and Nigro is a Democrat. And like all judges, both got a big pay raise in July. Those urging a no vote next Tuesday say it's the first chance to send Harrisburg a message on the pay raise.
And we'll remember the pay raise when we go out to vote.
Now, both Nigro and Newman say they had nothing to do with the pay raise. The Senate went into session within the last hour, but when Senator Logan tried to offer his amendment to repeal the whole pay raise, the Republican Majority Leader put the Senate into a temporary recess. Now, as soon as something happens in Harrisburg, we'll have the news for you right here on KDKA TV. In the newsroom, I'm John Delano.
John, before you go, just a quick comment for you here. I don't know if you've heard it yet or not, but at least Justice Newman has some money back in her corner. I heard a radio ad today on her behalf from former Governor Tom Ridge, asking people to re-elect hers.
Well, there's no doubt about it. These justices of the Supreme Court are worried, and I've heard that both Justices Newman and Nigro will have some radio and television in the last days of this campaign. They are worried that people will vote no just to send a message to the state legislature. Stacey?
All right, thank you, John. Well, the wait is now over for people who want to try to claim licenses for slots parlors in Pennsylvania. The State Gaming Control Board is now officially taking applications for the 5 slot machine casinos and 2 resort parlors that will be allowed to open. As for Pittsburgh, there is only 1 slots license up for grabs. It could be some time, though, before the first applications come in. The deadline is December the 28th, and the application is said to be very lengthy.
State police are asking for your help in a deadly hit and run. This happened July 15th on Route 119 near Blairsville, and troopers tell us 29-year-old Sean Pierce was struck and killed by a small SUV or some sort of light truck as he was riding his bicycle. Pierce's sisters have set up a reward fund to help police find the driver, and if you have any information, please contact the state police. State police in Uniontown also are asking for your help in identifying a pair of thieves. The two are black females, and surveillance cameras captured their Dodge Durango in Kmart parking lot in South Union Township in Fayette County. Police say these two stole credit cards and checks and used them at stores in South Union Township. They say they ran up several $1,000s in fraudulent charges, and if you recognize the vehicle, contact the state police in Uniontown.
The mother of an accused killer says that her son is innocent. Gerald Gregg is on trial. He is accused in the shooting deaths of two men in Price's Tavern in South Union in Washington County. That happened on election night 2 years ago, and according to the Post-Gazette, Gregg's mother told a Washington County jury this week that her son was home at the time of those shootings.
It has been nearly 3 years since a Fayette County man was convicted for a second time in the murder of a 2-year-old boy. Franklin Weimer's attorney is trying to get a third trial. He claims that the child's death was an accident and that the evidence had been withheld by prosecutors. Instead, the 38-year-old was convicted of a third-degree murder charge.
The contract dispute between nurses at Mercy Jeanette Hospital and the hospital is now over. Nurses accepted a new 3-year deal by a vote of 100 to 1. The nurses basically got what they wanted in regards to more pay and also reducing the amount of mandatory overtime. There is now more time to appeal your property assessment. Allegheny County Council extended the deadline for appeals for 2006 until the end of the year. You should receive an assessment in the mail by the end of next week.
More fighting has been reported between U.S. forces and insurgents today. In Ramadi, insurgents used guns, rockets, and roadside bombs to attack U.S. patrols. This video shows in vehicle and what appears to be the wreckage of a U.S. Humvee. The American military has not confirmed that at this hour, but Iraqi police say there have been U.S. casualties. 5 civilians are dead in Baghdad. At least 10 others are wounded by bombs and explosive devices. One incident targeted an American military patrol on a 2-lane highway, and the blast hit a private minibus. The other bombing took place when an improvised explosive device went off next to a bus carrying people to work. Military officials say that a U.S. Marine attack helicopter crashed today. We are told that it went down near Ramadi and killed 2 crew members. A witness says that helicopter was shot down.
It was an emotional scene in Worcester, Massachusetts today. A lot of hugs and tears of joy as 24 National Guardsmen made it home from Iraq. They are returning home to their loved ones after serving 14 months of active duty.
It hurts, but, you know, thanks to God, we made it home.
I'm here home right now, but I pray for the guys that are still back up there.
That unit, by the way, specialized in water purification. The homecoming for a group of local soldiers has been delayed. About 100 members of the Pennsylvania National Guard were due back home today, but they had been in Iraq for more than a year. But their out-processing time at Fort Dix, New Jersey, took longer than expected. That unit should return home tomorrow.
Well, the circus is officially in town. The Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey crew rolled in this morning with a procession of pachyderms right through downtown Pittsburgh. Allison Morris has more.
After several hours of delays, the Ringling Brothers circus elephants hit the streets of Pittsburgh this morning around 8:45 and were escorted by police up the 7th Avenue ramp to Mellon Arena, where the circus is performing through Sunday night. And according to the elephant handlers, parading 10,000-pound pachyderms through a major city is no easy task.
There's a lot that goes into walking 9 animals through downtown of any city. The police have to be there, they have to be available, traffic has to be at least so we don't disturb the most amount of traffic that we can, because it is a big city. Once everything, all the stars align, then we take them off and get them to the building. Then we have our police escorts, and we just come through town and nothing stops us till we get here.
And if it's not shocking enough to see elephants during your morning commute, you'd be surprised to see how fast they move, blocking traffic for about as much time as it takes to wait at a red light.
They move pretty fast. The elephants are going, they're big animals, they have long strides, and so they're going.
In fact, they were going so quickly, many folks missed them entirely.
Grandma was listening to the news all morning, hearing about the elephants coming in. So she woke me up and made sure I brought them down here. We figured we wait almost to the last minute, but I guess we missed it.
Now, if, like Rick, you missed the elephants the first time around, don't worry. They'll do the march all over again on Sunday night when they leave the Mellon Arena and head back to the rail yard and out of town. At the Mellon Arena Uptown, Allison Morris, KDKA TV News.
Every time the circus comes to town, so does the protest surrounding it. PETA and the Humane Society have both expressed outrage over the treatment of animals in circuses, and they claim Ringling Brothers uses abusive training methods. But the circus says it does nothing wrong and uses no abusive methods.
Kind of a strong day on Wall Street today. Let's take a look at the early closing numbers for the day. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is going to gain nearly 66 points, closing back in on the 10,500 level. And the NASDAQ now solidly back above 2,100 as it's going to gain a little less than 30 1/3 points today. Rosa Parks was laid to rest today. Coming up, former President Bill Clinton and others joined together to remember her life and her legacy. Also coming up, a woman who is selling her house and a lot more on eBay. If you have the winning bid, she could become your wife.
And no complaints for early November. Some clouds this morning, but plenty of sunshine this afternoon. And the temperature has climbed into the 50s. It's 53 in the city right now. Some even nicer weather is headed our way. I'll tell you about it in my forecast coming up.
She loves, she leaves, and she loses it. Father in heaven, protect us all. Celebration Deirdre Hall drops by. Plus, singer and now new Eagles. Next, all new Martha. Tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Attention Medicare beneficiaries in Pennsylvania and West Virginia. Now you can protect yourself from the high cost of prescription drugs. A new Medicare-approved prescription drug plan can help bring your current and future prescription drug costs down, so you don't have to go without the coverage you need. But which plan should you choose? Let a trusted name guide you to the right plan. Highmark Blue Shield. Write this number down for a free guide on a choice of affordable Medicare-approved Blue RX drug plan options now available. Even if you currently have drug coverage, with Blue RX, you could lower your total premium while increasing your drug coverage significantly. Your out-of-pocket costs can come down too, with prescription drug copayments as low as $8 for generic drugs, and there's no deductible. You'll have coverage for both brand name and generic drugs. And unlike some prescription drug plans, there's no annual benefit maximum. That means no limit to how much you can spend annually on your prescriptions and still be covered. Plus, through our considerable strength in the healthcare community, you can save even more through drug discounts exclusively for Highmark Blue Shield members. And it's easy to use your coverage because Highmark Blue Shield has one of the largest networks of participating pharmacies in the state and throughout the country. You can even have your prescriptions delivered right to your door through our mail order option. So don't delay. The initial enrollment period runs for a limited time only. If you wait until the next enrollment period, penalties could apply. Your prescription drug needs and costs may be much higher in the future. So do something now to help keep those costs down. Call toll-free for all the facts on Blue RX, the Medicare-approved prescription drug plan that can save you money.
Call toll-free 1-800-533-1325 to receive your free guide to our Blue RX plans. That's 1-800-533-1325. There's no obligation. Call 1-800-533-1325 today.
In suburban Paris, police and teenagers clashed again for a sixth night. Angry youths torched a number of cars. In one of the worst-hit areas, police wearing riot gear fired rubber bullets at gangs who were setting mounds of garbage on fire. 4 people were arrested. At one time, more than 200 fires were burning in areas around the French capital. This unrest, by the way, started when 2 teenagers were electrocuted. They apparently were fearful that police were after them, so they tried to hide in a power substation. Some bad weather in Colombia. This tornado was caught on tape by an amateur cameraman. There was little damage and no deaths as it traveled through an undeveloped area. Another problem, though, is flooding, destroying crops and homes. Last Friday, Hurricane Beta lashed that area.
Many people, including some of the nation's most influential, are stopping to remember and honor Rosa Parks. Her funeral service lasted for several hours today at the Greater Grace Temple in Detroit. That's the city she called home when she moved 2 years after refusing to give up her seat on a bus in Birmingham, Alabama. And after joining hands and singing "We Shall Overcome," political and spiritual leaders from all around the world praised Parks' dignity and courage.
Let us never forget that in that simple act, she showed us every single day what it means to be free.
And we will have more on the services for Rosa Parks in our next hour on KDKA TV News at 5. Coming up next, a hands-on approach to cancer treatment. We'll show you why doctors are prescribing massage therapy. Also coming up, find out why the iPod and other digital devices are making it harder to copy CDs.
Today at 5, Steelers injured knee, and he better see if he practiced today, and what the Steelers will do if he can't play Sunday. Plus, the Royal Tour of the U.S. continues, but are Charles and Camila really getting a royal welcome? Today on KDKA TV News at 5.
Imagine what it would be like to be one of the few people who are able to buy high-quality, name-brand furniture, flooring, window treatments, cabinetry, lighting, appliances, electronics, even bathroom fixtures at insiders' prices just like this.
Always wanted to say that. Keep on scratching.
Now this is a deal worth walking all the way across town for. The $2.49 daily special. Every day a different delicious 6-inch Subway sub on fresh baked bread for only $2.49. Heck, just saying the price makes me hungry. Subway, eat fresh.
A school bus brawl seems to have gotten out of hand, but what may have happened next is even more surprising, according to students and witnesses. When police arrived to break up the fight, they used pepper spray and stun guns on the rowdy students.
I was trying to run up under the bus trying to get away from them, and they pulled me out. One officer was like, "It's enough, and stop tasing them," and the other officer kept saying, "No, keep on doing it, keep on doing it."
This is the reason why people don't trust the police, because of situations like this. It was totally uncalled for. My heart hurt so much for those children.
Prince George's County, Maryland police say that the use of force only came after one of the students attacked an officer, and other students came off the bus and joined in. 6 students were arrested in that incident.
A teacher is on trial, charged with rape after taking sex education apparently too far. Prosecutors say the teacher had sex with a 14-year-old student in her car. The alleged victim told his family, who then called police, and as you can imagine, parents of other students are upset.
I have a younger son at the school in 6th grade, so he knew all about it too. You know, an 11-year-old to know about that was, I didn't think was really fair to not have a chance to talk to him about it first. My children couldn't understand that, you know, she was a mother and was involved in something like this, so it kind of rocks their world a little.
Other parents agree that it took too long for the school to notify them, and now those same parents say they have to discuss the topic of rape with their children.
It was a home invasion that had the homeowner saying, "Oh dear." The surprise visitor came crashing in the middle of the night.
I was standing about like this, peeking around the corner, when the deer came out of the bedroom.
Wayne Goldsberry of Rogers, Arkansas, says the intruder broke in through the bedroom window. He was working on his computer in another room when he heard the glass break and went to investigate.
He went from wall to wall, jumping back and forth across the bed.
It was a 5-point buck that smashed its way in through this window and into the master bedroom. This home video shows the deer's destruction, a broken window, a broken door, and blood on the floors and walls.
I could tell he was really tearing up the place back there.
That's when Goldsberry's wife called 911.
The dispatch puts out over the radio that the man had just called in and that there was a deer in his bedroom.
Meanwhile, this avid hunter grabbed his intruder by the horns.
He was trying to get up this corner, and I just came right in behind him, grabbed him by the horns, and just started pushing him down.
Goldsberry wrestled that deer for 40 minutes. Looking back, he says, that was a bad idea. Unfortunately, the deer did not survive the encounter. The homeowner did receive a few bumps and bruises, but other than that, he is just fine. Well, coming up next at 4:30, plans to close area schools. We will show you how the Pittsburgh School District is deciding which schools will remain open and which ones will close.
Also coming up, both sides are talking again. We will have the latest on a local teacher strike.
And at 5:45, the bus stops here on KDKA. Jerome Bettis will be in our studios for the Steelers Playbook.
The entire planet could be doomed sooner than we think. Supercells all over France.
Level 1 medical response immediately.
Son of
Right now,
you or someone you know is having their life adversely affected by lack of sleep or snoring. Yes, I notice many of you turn toward the TV screen. You or someone you know could be one of the 10 million Americans who go undiagnosed every year with an ailment called sleep apnea. If being tired, feeling like the life has been zapped out of you, falling asleep at the wheel of the car, or depression sound familiar, then call this toll-free number now, 1-888-47-SLEEP. That's 1-888-47-SLEEP.
Good afternoon from CBS News. Bob Schieffer with Newsbreak. 4,000 mourners attended today's funeral in Detroit for civil rights pioneer Rosa Parks. Bill Clinton and Jesse Jackson were among the speakers. In Iraq, 2 U.S. Marines were killed today when their attack helicopter crashed and 2 other servicemen died in a bombing. French President Chirac appealed for calm today as rioting spread in Paris suburbs, home to mostly immigrants. And Prince Charles and Camila were welcomed to the White House for lunch. Now this.
My mom has arthritis. Taking Bear keeps her music playing. My brother has a bad knee. Taking Bear keeps his game going. And what really amazed me was when Bear helped my father keep living. He took it during a heart attack. Bear helped save his life. Nothing else I know does so much. So when I'm in pain, what do you think I'm going to choose?
Genuine Bear, like no other pain reliever in the world.
I'm Bob Schieffer on the evening news tonight, the legacy of Rosa Parks.
I hope those teeth come in straight. Maybe the cooler the brush, the longer they'll brush.
Until now, finding affordable dental care for your whole family hasn't been easy. Vital Savings by Aetna helps make it possible. Save up to 50% instantly on dental procedures like braces, cleanings, crowns, and whitening. Vital Savings is not insurance. There are no copays, no deductibles, and no paperwork. 8 out of 10 dentists accept the Vital Savings by Aetna card, so chances are your dentist does too. Sign up now with no sign-up fee, just the $9 monthly rate. Log on or call now for this special offer. Just show your card and save up to 50% instantly at participating dental locations. The $9 a month is for your entire family, and you can cancel at any time.
Okay, time to get these whitened.
Vital Savings by Aetna. Sign up now with no sign-up fee, just the $9 monthly rate. Go to dentalcareoffer.com or call 1-800-757-6047.
Schools that make the grade. That's what Pittsburgh School Superintendent Mark Roosevelt says that he wants. Schools that make sense academically and economically. And in fact, next week, we should know which schools Roosevelt believes are succeeding and which ones he wants to close.
In the meantime, he has a new rating system to help him make that determination. It ranks the schools based on a formula that judges the quality of education students are getting, as well as taking into account how much the school is improving. Bob Allen has more.
The other end of the spectrum where she said, that's unlikely to happen.
Like students in Pittsburgh public schools, Superintendent Mark Roosevelt thinks schools themselves should be graded. Roosevelt has implemented a new system that rates schools from 1 to 5 on how well they're educating students.
It assesses both where the kids came in at, if it's a middle school. Where were they in 6th grade on a proficiency standard? And where are they in 8th grade when they leave that school?
The system considers the fact that some kids come from different social and economic backgrounds and may be more challenging to educate. Roosevelt says it's fair to judge a school not just on how well students score on tests, but whether they're improving.
A friend of mine has a great expression. He says, Mark, the parents are sending us the best kids they have. They're not leaving the good ones at home. I mean, these are the children we have to educate. It is our moral and ethical obligation to educate them.
The School Performance Index of Rating Schools was devised by the RAND Corporation. The company studied how each school raises student achievement.
Because that's, of course, what we want a school to do. That's what school performance means, is promoting and increasing the achievement of the kids it gets.
One of my major goals here in Pittsburgh is to create a performance-based culture, a culture in which we reward people for doing good work, and good work we define by helping students learn more.
Next week, the superintendent will announce his list of school ratings under the School Performance Index. He also plans to tell what schools he wants to close. Now, while it's not the only criteria, some of those same schools with poor ratings are also some of the ones he wants to shut down. Bob Allen, KDKA TV News.
In a previous interview with KDKA, Superintendent Roosevelt said that his other criteria for deciding which schools will close is enrollment. He says that any school with fewer than 300 students is not economically efficient and is actually being subsidized by other schools.
It is back to the bargaining table for striking teachers in the Penn Trafford School District. Teachers in the school board are talking today for the first time since the teachers hit the picket line on October the 24th. The main sticking points are salaries and health care. The walkout has kept 4,700 students out of the classroom. Now, in the meantime, the teachers union in the Highlands School District is now examining what the board is calling its final contract offer. The proposal would ask teachers to pay part of the cost of their medical benefits. No reaction so far from union leaders who threatened to authorize a strike if there was no agreement from Monday's negotiating session.
Well, it just became a lot harder to put your favorite CDs on your MP3 players and your iPods. 2 of the 4 major companies distributing music in the United States have just changed the way CDs are produced. These new CDs look the same, but you can only copy some of them 1 or 2 times. Others cannot be copied at all or even uploaded digitally to your personal player. The companies say it's what they have to do to fight piracy.
On Friday, KDKA TV will be talking with Steeler quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. It is his only sit-down interview after he injured his knee. You will see what Roethlisberger has to say about the injury, the team, and the season. That is coming up on Friday on KDKA TV News at 5 o'clock.
Turned out to be a beautiful day today.
Yeah, not too bad after yesterday especially. Are we going to have another one like this tomorrow? We'll find out. Here's Jeff Rosella.
And tomorrow looks to be even better than today, just in the fact that it is going to be a few degrees warmer than it is this afternoon. As we head through the evening hours, temperatures will slowly fall into the upper 40s and skies will be mainly clear. We could have a little patchy fog that develops by wake-up tomorrow morning, but it was this morning. 40 degrees and then quickly up to 55 with mostly sunny skies expected tomorrow afternoon. Right now it's 51 degrees and mostly sunny at Pittsburgh International. Winds now blowing in out of the southwest at 8 miles an hour. 53 in Freedom in Beaver County, exports at 52, Waynesburg at 54, and Clarion on the cooler end of the scale at 50 degrees. We're also running in the low 50s in both Zelienople and Apollo, 52 apiece, and 53 apiece in Carnegie and Monessen. Bigger picture shows actually very quiet weather, especially considering the time of year. November's oftentimes kind of a changeable month of weather, but things very quiet, especially across the eastern half of the U.S. Just a few showers working across the extreme northern Great Lakes, but otherwise, high pressure is the dominating weather feature and is going to be in control of the situation for at least a period of about another 48 to 72 hours. What does that mean? Clear skies by night and plenty of sunshine by day, and that's going to continue tomorrow, excuse me, and through the day on Friday, as a front that gets close to the area really stays off to the north through late in the day on Friday. Then as the ridge eventually gives way, this boundary is going to drop into town over the weekend, which means a bit more in the way of cloudiness and probably the chance for a few showers, mainly Saturday night on into Sunday. But all along tomorrow and Friday, going to be a nice end to the work week with that ridge of high pressure in control and pumping air up from the south and west. We're going to see sunshine and unusually warm temperatures for this time of year, 60 degrees or better, maybe even a run towards 70 as we head through Friday. So the forecast for tonight, mainly clear and seasonal. Some patchy fog will develop late, mainly close to some of the river valleys, 39 the low. Then for tomorrow, mostly sunny. The breeze is going to pick up in the afternoon, but milder, 63 degrees the high. Tomorrow night will drop down to 47 with fair skies in my 5-day forecast. On Friday, 67 degrees, and it stays mild over the weekend despite more clouds and a few showers Saturday night, but a better chance on Sunday. And Monday, temperatures start to cool off back to seasonal norms. Monday's high at 58. So tomorrow and Friday are going to be delightful.
Good. We will take it.
Enjoy.
Thanks very much, Jeff. Well, in these busy times, there are still many families who still find the time to congregate around the dinner table. And talking about one such family she's profiling is Post-Gazette features writer Gretchen McKay. And Gretchen, I know some of my fondest memories are around the table, and hopefully for my children as well.
Me too.
This, I understand, is a large family, huh?
This is a really large family, Patrice. I had the real opportunity to sit down with the Bott family of Bridgeville, and there are 11 siblings, 10 of which still live in the area. And they come together at their mom's house, the one they all grew up in, a couple times a month to have a big Sunday dinner.
Which is a wonderful way to unite and laugh and eat. And Oh, is there something special about the food they cook as well?
Well, it is. Millie, who is the mom, she had a French grandmother. All her relatives were from France, so she's very skilled in the French style of cooking. So this isn't, your average dinner where you have a roast chicken maybe or a bucket of, fried chicken. They're gourmet French dishes that they cook, and they use only the freshest foods that are in season. So a lot of fresh vegetables and things like rabbit stew.
Oh, okay. So there are also some family heirloom recipes as well.
That's right. That's right. They have some that have been handed down throughout the generations, like a wonderful pear tart that you'll see in the paper tomorrow that they cook. So.
Okay. Well, we'll look forward to spending time with that family and reading your article as well. Thanks so much, Gretchen.
You're welcome.
Still to come, see why a town is putting radiation detectors on its traffic lights. At first, an airline is hoping that these new planes will help it get out of bankruptcy.
Tonight, teaching good manners. It's not a thing in the past. Some of America's top universities are now offering classes on etiquette. The story on tonight's CBS Evening News.
Did your doctor find a spot on your lung? Have you found a lump on your breast? Is a loved one showing the signs of Alzheimer's? Don't wait for a problem to grow. Call Highfield Imaging today. Highfield's PET CT scanner is an advanced imaging technique to detect cancer and certain heart and brain disorders earlier and accurately. Don't spend stressful months waiting and worrying. Ask your doctor for a prescription and call Highfield Imaging in Greentree today.
For over 35 years, attorney Edgar Snyder has represented the people of Pennsylvania, first as a public defender, today as a lawyer who protects the rights of those seriously injured in accidents. Once again this year, attorney Snyder has been selected by his peers as a Pennsylvania super lawyer. It's an honor awarded to only the top 5% of the state's attorneys. So if you are injured in an accident, trust attorney Edgar Snyder and his law firm to protect your legal rights. For a free consultation, call 1-800-94-EDGAR.
Why do I go to Sears Dental? They're open evenings and weekends. Their schedule fits mine.
I really like the staff.
I like the savings.
Enjoy unmatched convenience and save at Sears Dental. Priority dentures start at just $249. Save $175 on crowns. Use your Sears card and get 0% APR financing on purchases over $500. Your actual fees may vary depending on complexity and circumstance. Trust your smile to Sears Dental. Call 1-800-47-SMILE. Sears. Good life, great price.
Top off your tank with Comcast Cable. Order digital cable now and get on demand. HDTV, HBO, Showtime, and Stars free for 6 months. Plus get a $25 Get-Go gift card. Hey, you gotta get where you gotta go. And now Comcast and Get-Go from Giant Eagle will provide you with the fuel you'll need to get there. So call 1-800-COMCAST today and ask how you can get 3 great services for one low price. Plus a $25 Get-Go gift card.
As you probably know, the USDA has remodeled the food pyramid. Now it stresses the importance of regular exercise and a balanced diet, including healthy foods like Idaho potatoes. They're loaded with vitamins and nutrients like potassium and vitamin C, and they're a delicious energy source with 0 fat and only 100 calories. But not all potatoes come from Idaho, so always look for the Grown in Idaho seal. Take steps to a healthier you with genuine Idaho potatoes.
Bankrupt Northwest Airlines has just introduced its latest cost cutter, a fleet of new planes. The company is replacing its DC-10s with new Airbus A330-300s. Striking mechanics and laid-off flight attendants at the airline are not happy with the plane's $135 million price tag, but the company says it will save money in the long run because of better fuel efficiency.
Fewer people were laid off last month. In today's business notes, the outplacement firm Challenger Gray & Christmas reports 81,000 people were laid off in October. And while that is not good news for those people, overall, that is still the lowest figure for October in 5 years. And it's 20% lower than October of last year. Healthcare giant Johnson & Johnson is having second thoughts about acquiring medical device maker Guyton. Guyton has had several recalls recently of its implantable devices. That deal is going to be worth an estimated $25 billion, and a lot of money on Wall Street changing hands today to the upside. As you can see, for the day, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is going to gain nearly 66 points, and the NASDAQ is going to gain a little more than 30.25 points.
Up next, find out how the anthrax scare at the nation's capital may actually help Hurricane Katrina victims. Plus, it's time to break out the fancy clothes. President Bush and the First Lady are preparing for a state dinner with Prince Charles and his bride, the Duchess of Cornwall, Camilla.
It's easy to find carpet with the look and feel you want. Just call Empire today. We'll bring a great selection of quality brand name carpets you can choose right at home, where it's easier to compare all the colors and textures and find what best matches your rooms. You even save with warehouse direct prices. Plus, no payments till 2007. And we install next day.
It's easy to save on quality carpet when you shop at home with Empire today.
800-588-2300 Empire. Today. I have no energy. I feel guilty and depressed. It seems like I feel this way over and over. If you're depressed again, you may qualify for a research study. To learn more, call 412-246-6222.
I'm Ken Steidel.
I'm Kenny Steinberg.
And I'm Mike Carr. We'd like to have a serious discussion with you about what happens to your minor children if you die without a will.
What do you mean you have kids and you don't have a will?
What's going to happen to your kids? What if they have health problems?
Are you crazy?
What about their education? Are you out of your mind? I'm so glad we had this little discussion.
Yeah, me too.
The will's an estate's practice of Steidel and Steinberg. Call us if you don't have an attorney. No will, no way. 412-391-8191.
One judge has stood up to the politicians in the legislature, Judge Russell Nigro. Tough on crime, Nigro upheld laws that protect children from dangerous material on the internet. Nigro has been endorsed by DAs representing prosecutors of both political parties. And Nigro has voted to overturn the legislature when they've been wrong. Now, calling Nigro independent, newspapers across Pennsylvania are urging voters to vote yes for Judge Russell Nigro.
When it comes to watching over your heart, are you sure you have the right oatmeal? New Kashi Heart-to-Heart Instant Oatmeal has ingredients that can help with more than just lowering cholesterol. It has 6 different antioxidants to help keep arteries healthy. And Kashi Heart-to-Heart has low sodium to help keep blood pressure healthy. No other instant oatmeal is more devoted to your heart. New Kashi Heart-to-Heart Instant Oatmeal. Have a real change of heart.
What's on tonight? Brought to you by Highmark, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Have a greater hand in your health.
In one Colorado town, authorities are installing a new system to help keep people safe from radiation leaks. They have now installed 4 radiation sensors on traffic lights in Colorado Springs. If the sensor detects a high level of radiation, it instantly turns on a camera to try to track the source.
The stars as small as the eraser on a pencil is enough to cause lethal doses in human beings within 10 feet of that source.
Now, the sensors are the first to be tested in the country. The city is planning to put them at about 100 different locations, intersections. It could be especially useful because of the number of military installations in that area.
Thousands of Hurricane Katrina evacuees who have found temporary housing in other places could find themselves homeless once again. Shortly after the storm, the federal government and charities stepped in to help these people make temporary rent payments. But there are 2 problems. Those donations are starting to dry up, and some people are using the aid money they are getting for other expenses.
And if they can't provide us with receipts to show us that they did use it as it's intended for, they may not get additional housing money.
I thank God every day I'm alive, so me not me waiting on FEMA is just, it's not as bad as me waiting to get out of the Superdome, so I can wait on FEMA.
For people who do qualify for help, the government says it will step up to the task. It has been 2 months since the storm hit the Gulf Coast, and right now an estimated 1,200 people in Mississippi are still living in shelters. The rest are in tents. Stacey Case has more from Biloxi.
Every day's the same. A full day at work, followed by a full night of work.
Just never thought I'd see the day I had to do something like this, especially at my age, you know.
With their house still standing but severely damaged by the flood, the Kostmeyers are considered the lucky ones. They have what some 25,000 other Mississippi storm victims want, a FEMA trailer.
This is our wall-to-wall bed. This is our bedroom.
We're closer now than we ever was when we first got married.
They'll spend Christmas here, and who knows how long after that.
I have dealt with a lot of people, and I just appreciate it so much.
While some are living in temporary trailers, many are in tents pitched on the property where their homes once stood.
You know, I knew my house wasn't going to be there.
Gina Moody and her daughter are on what seems like a never-ending camping trip. 2 tents, no bathrooms, the family dog, that's it.
We're waiting on FEMA. I've already got supposedly a number, an application and all that, and they'll call me when they get it, and they haven't done anything.
The frustration is mounting on the Gulf Coast. FEMA is issuing 500 trailers a day, but even that draws criticism.
It really just upsets me to see that people got houses that are stable enough for them to stay in, and they got trailers sitting in their yard. But yet here we're sleeping in tents, and they don't have anything for us.
It's a challenging lesson in patience.
It's home, and we're getting to enjoy it, and thank God we got it.
With no end in sight. Stacey Case, CBS News, Biloxi, Mississippi.
And some people who thought their homes were ruined forever are now finding a surprise from the chemical used to clean up anthrax. One New Orleans resident says that her home was covered in a thick black mold, and when she came back to it for the first time, well, she was ready to demolish that house.
When I walked in this house, I called my husband and I said, I'm getting a garbage bag and I'm putting everything in it and I'm never coming back. I never want to live in this house again. The technology that's used for anthrax to sterilize Capitol Hill and the Daschle Suite actually works on this as well.
After the chemical treatment chlorine dioxide, the house looks like it did before Hurricane Katrina. The homeowners say that they are now planning to move back in very soon.
The U.S. tour continues for Prince Charles and Duchess Camila, and tonight they have fancy dinner plans at the White House. This morning they arrived in Washington at Andrews Air Force Base, and from there they took a driving tour of the capital city. Next stop, the White House for a meet and greet with the President and the First Lady. And then the foursome will sit down for a nice, quiet lunch. Tonight, though, it will be a large, fancy affair, a formal state dinner at the White House. Former Pittsburgh Steelers football star Lynn Swann will be there as well.
There was an outrage in England when that country banned fox hunting last year, but some hunters are finding some loopholes. Charles Daggett has more from London.
Tally-ho! Fox hunting season opens this week in Britain. Wait a minute, wasn't that supposed to be outlawed or something? Well, in theory, yes, but try telling these guys. British people don't much like being told what to do about anything, especially country folk who feel this law has been forced on them. And it turns out the historic ban on traditional fox hunting is more loophole than law. For instance, you can use dogs to flush animals out for a bird of prey. That's where this guy comes in.
We're not hunting with hounds. We are just flushing that cover to the bird here.
That bird's just an alibi with wings. If anything, the ban to stop hunting foxes with dogs has backfired spectacularly. Hundreds of hunt organizers all over the country say more Brits than ever are saddling up to defy the law. Here's another method, a drag hunt. Douse a rag with animal scent and drag it. The dogs find the scent, the pack gives chase. All perfectly legal. That is, until the dogs find another smell. Should they stumble on a fox, they're supposed to call the dogs off.
You can't stop foxhounds hunting foxes, and that's it, like.
Now, proving intent with humans is tough enough. Proving intent with a dog, well, that's just crazy talk. And hunters would argue it's not about the kill, or indeed getting caught. It's the thrill of the chase. Charlie Daggett, CBS News, London.
Well, coming up next, something new for sale on eBay. We will tell you why a woman is selling her house and herself. We'll also see what the bids are up to right now. And this evening at 5:45, Jerome Bettis will be live in our studios, breaking down Monday's game and looking ahead to Sunday. It's the Steeler Playbook, only on KDKA.
Today at 5, his big man's injured knee, and he better see if he practiced today, and what the Steelers will do if he can't play Sunday. Plus, the Royal Tour of the U.S. continues, but are Charles and Camila really getting a royal welcome? Today on KDKA TV News at 5.
To thank everybody for making Pizza Hut Pan Pizza America's favorite pan pizza for 25 years, we thought we'd give everybody a big hug. We've got a better way to spread the love.
The celebration is still going, and right now, to thank you, we'll give you a medium one-topping pan pizza for just $8.99 and load it up with lovers toppings for just 25 cents more. More meat, more veggies, all on that famous crust, just 25 cents. Can you feel the love?
Oh, yeah.
He's campaigned in every corner of the city, proposing new ideas on how to make Pittsburgh better. He's taken tough stands on running the city in a fiscally responsible way, cutting waste, and getting the most out of our tax dollars. He's worked hard to lay the groundwork for both business and labor to create the right environment to attract and keep jobs. And he's pledged that every day, his goal is to move Pittsburgh in the right direction. Bob O'Connor, the Democrat for mayor. Doctors come from around the country to the Skin Center to learn the quick lift from world-renowned, board-certified cosmetic surgeon Dominic A. Brandy, MD. The quick lift can erase up to 10 years in 1 hour. Call the Skin Center today.
I'm at least 10 years younger looking. Now when I look in the mirror, I just really can't believe the difference.
To learn more about the procedure that everyone is talking about, call the Skin Center at 1-800-321-LIFT. That's 1-800-321-LIFT. Call today.
Hope sees the invisible, feels the intangible, and achieves the impossible. Visit your local Eckerd pharmacy today to buy these framed images, which have been commissioned by American Stamp Collectibles. These stamps are more than just a purchase, with a portion of the proceeds benefiting a Reason to Hope Cancer Fund in support of UPMC Cancer Centers and the University of Pittsburgh Cancer Institute. Purchasing these framed collectibles, you're buying more than just a picture. You are giving hope.
Tonight at 6, phony promises and prescription drug cards, a special warning from Vaughan Thanos. Plus, we take you inside as cops and dogs search a local school.
What do you got?
A story you'll see only on KDKA. Tonight on KDKA TV News at 6.
Well, here we are 2 days into the month of November, and we've yet to see any, say, significant cool down or no harsh cold as of yet. The storm track over the last couple of weeks has generally been across the northern plains and through the Great Lakes, and what's happening is it's starting to draw some mild air toward the north. Yes, it's been chilly at times, but overall, it has been, in terms of temperatures, not too bad, or should I say it could have been worse over the course of the last couple of weeks. Outside this afternoon, seasonably cool, which means it's right about where it should be for this time of year. 51 currently in Saxonburg and Beaver, 53 in Monroeville, also 53 in Collinsville, and Carmichael's currently at 52 degrees. Between now and tomorrow morning, temperatures will drop through the 40s, probably dipping down to around 40 degrees for overnight lows before recovering by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning to 41 degrees in Saxonburg, 43 in Beaver, 44 in Monroeville, and mid-40s in both Carmichael's and Connellsville. And yes, it will be cool in the morning, but with that southwesterly flow of air, the morning chill is going to give way to afternoon warmth the next couple of days. With sunshine combined with that southerly flow of air, temperatures will be, or definitely be on the upswing over the course of the next couple of days. 60 degrees or better likely right through the weekend. I'll have more details in my 5-day forecast coming up at 5 o'clock. Now back over to Stacy and Patrice.
Thank you, Jeff. A proposed change in federal tax law would cut deeply into your ability to deduct the interest from your mortgage. As it stands right now, homeowners can deduct all of the interest they pay on their mortgage, but a presidential panel is recommending that it be reduced to a 15% tax credit. Homeowners would also no longer be able to take deductions on property taxes. Many lawmakers are already vowing to keep the tax change from taking place.
These days, many people are turning to the internet to sell their homes, but a woman in Denver is not just selling her home, she's selling herself with it. Suzanne McCarroll has the story from Denver.
On a quiet street, the leaves are falling, and the owner of this house is hoping to fall in love. She's looking for someone to buy the house and marry her.
I'm looking for what every person out there is probably looking for, is true love.
She's got a website, housewithbride.com. She's posted pictures of herself and pictures of her house. We talked with her by phone at her job in Albuquerque.
Now, what happens if they like the house but not you, or they like you and not the house? If they like the house, I'm open to that, of course, because the goal was to sell the house. And if they like me and not the house, I'm open to that as well.
Neighbors say that at an asking price of $600,000, any man would be crazy to pass up this deal.
I mean, I think you buy the house and the wife, and you have a ton of kids on the street already, so you have friends for the future.
Interested buyers and suitors can apply online or by mail.
Well, that was Suzanne McCarroll reporting, and the woman says that she'll make her choice on February 14th, which, of course, is Valentine's Day. We've got more news of the day and Jeff's local forecast straight ahead.
KDKA TV News at 5 starts right now.
Stacey Patrice, thanks very much. Right now at 5, 104 miles an hour down a local highway, a teenager at the wheel.
Will state lawmakers vote to repeal at least part of the midnight pay raise that made so many voters so mad?
Police say he's part of a case involving a home invasion and murder, but he wanted nothing to do with our camera today. Find out why.
First, will he or won't he play this Sunday? Ben Roethlisberger's knee injury is all Steeler fans thinking about right now.
This is KDKA TV News at 5.
And we begin this hour with breaking news. It appears as if lawmakers in Harrisburg may repeal the total pay raise, not just part of it.
Let's get right to political editor John Delano now. He's in the newsroom with details. John.
Well, it is a surprise development, and of course, when it comes to the state legislature, nothing is a done deal until it's a done deal. But a few minutes ago, Senate Republican leader David Brightbill agreed to an amendment offered by Democratic State Senator Sean Logan of Monroeville to repeal the entire pay raise, not just those unvouchered expense allowances that give a pay raise for now until the next election. Senate Democrats have been united that the whole pay raise should be repealed, while Republicans wanted to end the unvouchered expense allowances alone, preserving the pay raise to take effect after next year's election. But Logan said that didn't go far enough, and Brightbill appears to have thrown in the towel.
When I looked at that provision of just repealing the unvouchered expense portion of the pay raise, I really believe that it just did not go far enough. This amendment is very simple. It repeals the pay raise for all involved, the governor, the lieutenant governor, all the members of the General Assembly, the justices and the judges in the court system in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the state treasurer, the auditor general, and the attorney general.
We've accepted the amendment. I think what would be appropriate now is if anyone else has an amendment, that would be appropriate. I think the gentleman's remarks are in order when it comes time to pass the bill.
Now, Senator Logan joins us by telephone from Harrisburg. And, Senator, let me ask you, when will there be a final vote on your amendment that the Republicans at least seem to have agreed to?
Well, John, they have agreed to it. What's happening at this process, and I apologize, there's some noise in the background because I'm still on the floor. You technically have to reprint the bill with my new amendment in that bill that actually repeals the pay raise. So it's more of a kind of housekeeping issue. They'll reprint the bill. We'll take a final vote on the bill, which at this point will be 50-0. Then we'll send it over to the House of Representatives. And at this point, we're going to sit tight here in Harrisburg this evening and see what the House of Representatives do. If they change anything in the bill, which I'm not sure they will or they will not, that bill needs to come back to us. So there's still a little bit more work to do, but it's a great first step for Pennsylvania and the citizens of Pennsylvania that we were able to repeal the pay raise in its entirety.
Are you surprised, Senator, that this happened, that the Republicans essentially caved in?
Well, you know, I don't want to use the word caved in. Early in the week, they wanted to just repeal the unvouchered expense portion of it. I just didn't think that went far enough. And what I spent the last 2 days was talking to my colleagues in the Senate, explaining my position, telling them, listen, we need to listen to the people of Pennsylvania. We need to restore some integrity to Harrisburg. And as you can see by the vote of 50-0, we've done that, and now we'll need to wait for further action tonight.
Well, as you know, the state legislature is controlled also by the Republicans. Do you think now we'll see a unanimous vote out of the House as well?
You know, I couldn't tell. There's more members over there, 203 members. We're going to be meeting with leadership soon to explain my point of view, to explain my amendment. You know, we can keep our fingers crossed, cautiously optimistic that they'll see our point of view. The people of Pennsylvania have been very clear on this issue in the last couple of months. And again, there's a little bit more work to do tonight, but it's a great first step.
Well, final question to you, Senator. Does this put this issue to bed and end finally as a campaign issue in next year's elections?
I don't know about that. I don't run next year. I run in 2008. For me, this was about restoring integrity. I didn't like the process that was used on July 7th. I didn't like that we did it at 2 a.m. This was restoring integrity. This was righting the wrong. If somebody wants to start the debate of whether state legislators should make X percentage of United States congressmen, let's have public hearings. Let's have open debate. Let's have testimony. And that's what this was all about. Repealing the pay raise. If somebody wants to bring that issue up again, let's do it out in the open.
State Senator Sean Logan, thank you again for agreeing to speak with us. We appreciate it. Thank you. And Stacey, Patrice?
Close enough.
Actually, we'll take it.
We'll answer those names.
Thank
All right,
you.
John, thanks for the breaking report there. We'll wait to hear more. We'll see if there's any movement on this in the State House. All right, you've seen it. You've heard all about it. So just how bad is it?
Ben Roethlisberger is nursing a sore knee. So what happened in practice today? Well, we have live team coverage on this. John Shumway's got the injury news for you. John Steigerwald's got the backup plan if Ben doesn't play on Sunday. But let's start with John Shumway live over on the south side. John.
Yeah, the great knee watch day 2 over here on the south side, and Ben Roethlisberger was out on the practice field, although not going through the squad drills today, and he seemed like he was in pretty good shape, both on the field and in the locker room. Under the trainer's watchful eye and instruction, Roethlisberger put his knee through some paces.
Doing okay.
Come again?
Doing okay.
You probably won't find doing okay in a medical definition book, but his movements on the practice field certainly looked more than just okay.
I always want to play. I want to be out there for the guys, so I'm going to do everything I can to be healthy and then be out there for them.
But desire only goes so far in the National Football League. While the MRI on Roethlisberger's knee didn't show any major damage, according to Coach Cowher, Ben's not the only one with a say in whether he plays, as he found out against Jacksonville.
It's a committee decision. Obviously, the final decision comes down to Coach Cowher. I'm going to give him my opinion. The doctors will give him their opinion, but he's going to have the final say.
If Ben can't go, Charlie Batch will. But Batch says, don't count the kid out yet.
He's young. He's he has those young bones, and he's able to recover a lot quicker than what some people are.
You get the feeling that if it's based on desire, that Ben Roethlisberger will be playing on Sunday. But when we ask him specific questions about his knee, he said all knee questions have to go to Coach Cowher. So we went to the coach, and all we got there was he's listed as questionable for Sunday. Stay tuned. More coming from here, no doubt, on this tomorrow. Reporting live from the South Side, John Shumway, KDKA TV.
We'll wait to hear more. Thank you, John. I know a Steeler fan wants to think about it, but let's just say Roethlisberger can't play Sunday in Green Bay. So what is the Steelers' plan? Let's go now over to KDKA's John Steigerwald. He joins us live from the newsroom. John, what are you hearing?
Well, it's going to be Charlie Batch. Tommy Maddox has been dropped to number 3, and it was Batch who took most of the snaps at practice today. All the talk about Ben Roethlisberger and whether he's going to play and the fact that he missed a game 2 weeks ago should give everybody an appreciation for what Brett Favre has done. He hasn't missed a start in 226 games. That's going back to Bill Cowher's first year as a coach, 1992. Quarterbacks aren't supposed to hold up that long, and little injuries like the ones Roethlisberger has had can have a cumulative effect.
Well, you always worry about the future when it comes to injuries, but for me, you live one day at a time, and I always try and do everything you can to help the team, because my thought is this year, and I understand that everyone always worries about the longevity and the long career and this and that, but I'm living for this year right now, so we'll see what we can do for this year.
Charlie Batch has a different streak. He hasn't started a game in 4 years, and he's thrown 8 passes in the last 3 years.
I have confidence in him. I mean, he's the backup quarterback, so I got confidence in all our quarterbacks. So, whatever the situation may be, if Charlie gets in there, we got to rally around him and continue making plays, regardless of who's in there. So.
Of course, Brett Favre will be making his 213th consecutive start against the Steelers in Green Bay on Sunday. We'll have more from both Roethlisberger and Batch coming up at 6.
All right, John, we'll see you then. Thanks. And if you'd like to see that whole locker room interview with Ben Roethlisberger, go to KDKA.com. We have more Steeler coverage, too, coming up here later at 5. Only on KDKA, the Steelers playbook with Jerome Bettis tonight. We're going to ask him about Ben Roethlisberger's knee injury, of course, as we look ahead to Sunday in Green Bay and get the scoop on the surprisingly close win on Monday night. And then this Friday, KDKA TV talks with Ben Roethlisberger in his only sit-down interview since his knee injury. See what he's saying about that, the team, the season. That's all coming up on KDKA TV News at 5 this Friday.
A man died today after crashing his truck into a house in Indiana County. News Chopper 2 flew over North Bend Franklin Road in White Township. Police say 65-year-old Kenneth Fleming tried to make a turn but lost control and careened into a house under construction. Fleming lives right on that same road. Well, tonight and only on KDKA, new information in the case of a deadly home invasion involving Clarion University students. A suspect who was in jail is now out, and police say the gun found at the scene of the crime belongs to the son of a Pittsburgh Public School Board member. John Cater has the exclusive details.
Could you get the camera off me?
Jason Vaughan does not want to talk. He's a home invasion suspect. A home invasion police say ended in the shooting death of Clarion University student Christopher Mills. KDKA has obtained the amended 6-page affidavit of probable cause in that fatal shooting last month. In the documents, the first official explanation behind the home invasion where Mills was shot and killed.
How you doing, man? I'm with KDKA. We're just wondering if you would say anything or anything about, what's going on, because they released a criminal complaint today.
Police say Jason Vaughan told them both he and Christopher Mills were intent on buying cocaine from the house they allegedly broke into. But Vaughan says fellow student Zachary Snyder told them there wasn't any inside the home. Based on the criminal complaint, Vaughan says Christopher Mills would not take no for an answer and pushed in the door. Vaughan says he heard shots, ran, and he didn't see who was shooting. He says Mills fell in the hallway and dropped the gun. A reportedly stolen gun, which we found throughout the course of our investigation, belongs to Mark Brentley II, son of Pittsburgh Public School Board member Mark Brentley. Mark Brentley II, who's also a student at Clarion University, told police both Vaughan and Mills were at his apartment prior to the shooting. Brentley has cooperated with investigators. He said a day later he noticed his 9mm was missing. When police interviewed Jason Vaughan, Vaughan again placed the gun in Christopher Mills' hands.
Is this true what they said that you're saying right here?
Go ahead. Leave me alone. Go ahead.
Police say the investigation is still ongoing and additional charges could be filed pending the outcome of forensics test. John Cater, KDKA TV News.
Now, no mercy for a man from Fayette County convicted of shaking his 3-year-old daughter to death. The judge sentenced 25-year-old Ryan Workman to 9 to 18 years in prison, calling the crime inexcusable. Alexis Workman died in August of last year. Workman says it was an accident and he was just frustrated with her.
The judge is refusing to suppress statements in the case of a Connellsville man accused in a string of arsons. Harry Collins made the statements to investigators. The Tribune Review reports defense lawyers say police violated Collins' Miranda rights because a lawyer wasn't present. When police first arrested him, Collins told officers there is a good Harry and a bad Harry. Collins is accused of setting 4 arsons in and around Connellsville.
If you're not happy with your 2006 property assessment value, you now have some more time to appeal it. Allegheny County Council has extended the deadline now to December 31st. No one's going to see a change in their assessment next year because the county adopted 2002 values as a base. But council decided to give more time for recent home buyers who want to reverse increases in school districts and municipalities won after 2002. The deadline change will likely cause some confusion because at least 50,000 homeowners are getting letters